welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you join us later, there'll be no issue. I will have this video on YouTube later. And this is AFG podcast episode 5, our 5th episode, pretty much ever. Thanks for joining. I have a couple people actually on right now, which is cool. But right now, I am here with my good friend Steven. We wasn't prepared. Well, I wasn't prepared for this show. Once again, another last minute attempt to get something out there to you guys and talk about games like we normally do. Steven, how you doing, man?
Doing good. It's a
That's
nice
good.
Saturday. Nice Saturday so far. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of the games came out so far, and a lot more games are coming out nearly towards the end of the month, which is pretty. I think this is probably going to be the biggest month of releases of games this year, and I think the last month of big game releases. I think. I know we have Battlefield coming out next month, and actually, I really don't know past that, to be honest. But we do have Guardians coming out next week, which I'm definitely gonna get, and it's probably gonna be my last big story game for the year, actually. That I can remember at least so far, off the top of my head. Until next year when we get into the only other good big games. Um, right now,
Halo drop next month.
oh duh, wow, and
Yeah.
I'm wearing the freaking
Yeah.
hat. Yeah, it's up here and it's not down here. But I guess yeah, that definitely set my mind. Wow. Halo Infinite was definitely another one, a big one, and that will be the last big game. It has to be the last big game because that's dropping December, I believe. The beginning of December, I think December 8th or something. You can fact check me on that, but yeah. Halo's the last big game that I know of this year that's coming out. Behind Guardians of the Galaxy. So, well, in front of Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, I know we have not that much to talk about right now. Besides, as far as news go, besides the Nintendo price jump for the expansion online pass or online pack, or what they want to call it, an expansion pack, like it's a Rumble pack in the back of your N64 cartridge, or whatever. But you know, that's only one that I know we have today, unless something comes up during the stream. But I'll keep an eye out for that. Um, as of now, I am still currently playing Far Cry 6 a lot. And just started. I don't want to keep switching up before I finish Far Cry, but I did start a little bit of Lost Judgment on a PS5, and I'm like very very eager to get to that. But yeah, I want to continue with finish Far Cry 6 before I get into another story game, unless I get sidetracked for Guardians next week. But between Guardians, between Far Cry 6 and Judgment, the only other game I've been playing up to recent, as of yesterday, because of the update patch, was Baldur's Gate 3, which came out with this biggest patch, Update 6, that came out with tons of fixes for other things that I've been following, and tons of new story content, including another class that you can pick as far as a sorcerer. Yeah, the sorcerer class you can pick now in Baldur's Gate for people that's interested in that. But it's probably grabbing me more to like now switch up from between Far Cry 6 and Baldur's Gate, but that's just me being all over the place, of course, like I am now in the introduction of this video. Um, so that's what I've been playing. What you been up to so far recently?
I've been playing Scarlet Nexus on Steam.
Okay.
It's pretty much anime the game, which for me is great. Um, but I got like 9 hours in so far. I'm still kind of feeling the game out, but it's fun.
The game is continuing to fill you out as well. Just a heads
Yeah.
up. It's a test of it was a test of my patience. I finished the game on a PS5 I think a month ago or so. But it's a test of it tested my patience heavily during the ending. Good game, but it did drop some points for me towards the end
Well, in what way? Like without spoilers, if that's possible.
Yeah, yeah, I could do without spoilers. Pretty much just it felt like it was dragging its feet and my feet. Like you want me to do this, you want me to do that, and it kept trying to, what do you call that term? For lack of better terms, it kept trying to stretch the story. The gap between like the story cutscenes and stuff like that. You find yourself doing plenty of battles within the same area, and I get tired of seeing the repetitive, the rooms I've been. It's like Gears of War, when you go through the story and you have to, when you're about to fight an enemy into this one area of the level, and it just keeps throwing you into those same scenarios over and over near the end, and it kept stretching as far as it can before I actually beat it. And it's been a couple times where I thought I was almost close. I was close to the end, and I thought I was about to beat the game, and it just kept going. I'm like, okay, story's interesting, but when I felt fatigue from those moments on, I think I was probably 20 or 25. I can't recount the hours I've done when I started feeling like that, but yeah, it took me about 35, I think, to beat it. 35 hours.
Okay.
It outstayed its welcome, a little bit to me, because once I finished the story, I was like, oh, okay, I see why they did this and why they did that, but there was no reason for them to keep filling up battles in between certain spaces that didn't need all of the battles at all.
Yeah, I can
It's
agree. The level design isn't fantastic or anything, and it
Yeah.
is kind of very repetitive. But I might be more willing to forgive that just because it's like an anime to me.
Hmm.
Interesting how the cutscenes, kind of like Tales of Arise. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but I heard that the cutscenes are kind of like panels, right? But same in Scarlet
It's
Nexus.
mixed. It's
Scarlet
mixed.
Nexus. Oh, it's a mix. Yeah.
Scarlet Nexus has way more panels than Tales of Arise.
Oh, really?
Tales of Arise have a lot of panels. I can't. You know what? Let me not say it like this way. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it this way. Tales of Arise has a lot more cutscenes to me than Scarlet Nexus cutscenes. They both have a lot of panels, but Tales of Arise have a hell of a lot more cutscenes to me. At least that was all together, and the game was long too. That game, I think I beat it. I recently beat Tales of Arise, which is actually my game of the year so far. Um, it took me about 43 hours, I believe, to beat that game, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Nothing felt like it was, you know, it was fatigue. Nothing felt like it was repetitive to me throughout the story. I enjoyed every bit of every grind that I had to go through, and it didn't feel like I was forced to grind either like that. But yeah, that game is the best art JRPG to me this year so far, and in recent years in general. But
Yeah,
yeah,
just at like face value for Tales of Arise, I'm like afraid that the story might be too generic. I don't know if you felt the same
it's
playing through the
in
game.
Tales of Arise.
Yeah,
No,
just because
it
I
starts off generic. It
okay,
starts off generic. It makes you believe what you think you should believe, I guess, at the moment, until it starts throwing more stuff into the story that gets very anime. It starts blowing up after halfway through the game, if not a little before halfway. But the game has two endings, as far as not ultimate endings like you have a path, but I'm talking about throughout the. It felt like there was an ending in the middle of the game or near the ending, and then a real ending came up. So it's one ending, but you know what I mean. Like it's just, yeah. So it's not complicated, but it is very it's deeper than what it seems to be in the beginning.
okay,
So it's for every bit of an anime lover that you are, anyone is out there for these games. That game is just as anime as Scarlet Nexus, but well, put together as far as the pacing of the story goes. That I think that it did a much better job than Scarlet Nexus did, and they're both very different games. One is an action, uh, game
action
compared,
RPG.
yeah, and the other one is
Yeah,
they're both action RPGs if you want to put it that way, because it's not turn based. One is more of a JRPG than the other. That's all I'm gonna say.
mhm.
Yeah, the other one, Scarlet Nexus, to me is just an action game or RPG elements in it, but it's a far better game to me than Scarlet Nexus. It just sucks that Scarlet Nexus had more potential to me if they just ripped away all of the filler battles in between the story to get make it a little better pacing than it was before.
Yeah, that's I think one thing I'm starting to notice with it too. I find like while I'm playing and battling, and then all of a sudden it's just like a cutscene, and like you know, it's like I'm just ramping up the gameplay. Like I would have liked to kill things a little bit longer before I get slapped with a 5 minute cutscene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But um, I don't mind it though because the story is interesting to me. So,
yeah.
but
It was definitely interesting enough for me to finish it because I felt like quitting on that game at one point, but I was like, you know what, my interest outweighed me feeling so fatigued with the story pacing. But nowadays it's like you just want to finish it. Well, for me, I just want to finish the game because I'm so busy. We're all busy in our own way. And I just want to enjoy the story for what it is. So, I mean, I put games on easy mode now. That's how old I feel. When it
yeah,
comes to certain games like Resident Evil Village or something like that. So
yeah, it's just you just want to play through it and enjoy the story
yep,
sometimes. You know,
exactly.
you can't be bothered with these challenge modes and hard modes, insane modes.
Now, if I've done it, I've done it to my last three games I finished. Man, I've been even Tales of Arise. I did it to Tales of
Mhm.
Arise too. After my first ending that I thought was an ending, I bumped the difficulty down. I was like, okay, you ain't gonna end here, so let me just take it easy for the rest of the game. Hopefully, and I still had a little trouble near the end too, which is weird, but yeah. I'm a soft gamer now. I'm no longer a hardcore gamer. um, but let's get into our first and only news with Nintendo. So I got this article from Game Informer, but I'm not even gonna read the article itself. I'm just gonna read the price hikes there, the new prices they have. So this, first of all, for those of you who don't know out there, the expansion pack it consists of N64 and N64 classics pretty much. I don't remember the list of the actual N64 games they're starting with. I think it's 5 or 6 games, very popular games. I think Star Fox is definitely one of them. But yeah, so Mario 64, one of my favorite games of all time, my first big 3D game of all time that I played. Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, Zelda Ocarina of Time. I don't know what Winback is. Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, and I don't know what that last one is because it looks like an anime game, but there's no English title on the front cover. All right. So yeah, it's pretty much about 9 games, if not more. They showed more. They're gonna come out with later, but yeah. I remember when the Switch first released years ago in March. I forgot how many years now. Actually, I think what is it, 3 years now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. But when they released and before they released, they were talking about having GameCube games and N64 games straight from Nintendo. With certain announcements that they made before the Switch released. Later down the line. Now we didn't expect this to be so far down the line. They coming out with another Switch, the OLED. Well, that did, actually recently came out. Next, they're gonna hit the Pro before GameCube games show up on the Switch. But it's just better late than never. Whatever. That's what I would say. Um, yeah, stupid text. So on the online expansion pack, it says an individual 12-month membership costs is $50 annually, with the family membership runs for $80. For comparison, 12-month single and family memberships for the current tier of NSO, Nintendo Switch Online, cost $20 to $35 respectively. Although the now basic tier of NSO has options for 1 and 3 month memberships, the expansion pack only offers 12 months. And I'm gonna stop there. So they want to price hike the memberships for their added N64 and future N64, emulation games on their system. Now the problem why I think this where the problem lies in this is their network service, online service, is nowhere near Xboxes and PlayStations. For them to charge so much for 50, well, you know what? It's not up to PlayStation's annual charge. I don't think so. Actually, it is $50 annually. Yeah, because PlayStation is 60, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is
Yeah,
60.
it's $10
Yeah,
before, and it's a hell of a big difference than Nintendo Online. So
that's just for the single
that's
for
just for the
single
annually.
person.
Yep, annually.
Yeah, for a single
And
person. Okay,
family, the family memberships is 80 annually for 12 months. So
it's like more than doubling.
yeah, so this is that's where the problem lies to me, is pretty much where their service is nowhere near as efficient and as good and as much offers as the other competitors that they're going against. Obviously, a lot of people did not like this. There's a bunch of YouTube videos of people bashing down these deal. Um, I can give two shits. For me personally, because I may not buy it anyways. If they do, now I don't know for a fact, but if they are locking the N64 games behind that paywall only, and you can't buy it separately, digitally, I mean, that sucks. And I'm assuming that's exactly what's going on with that story, because I don't think you're gonna be able to buy the 64 games on the market by itself. It would be nice if they do that, but of course they need to keep their package somewhat meaningful for the people that actually care out there for that. So 50 a year is just another subscription, another out of the long list of subscriptions that people pay for now. That's way past our telephone bills and cable bills individually. So what are your thoughts on that exactly? The with that price hike for Nintendo, as far as where they're at right now when it comes to their online services.
You know, I think it's a bit ridiculous. It's not like, you know, Nintendo is really offering much of anything. It gets a bit tiresome, right? When all Nintendo does is just play off of nostalgia, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's like, it's very low effort, and they just know, because the fan base, they capitulate. They're just like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll just throw money at you, no big deal, you know, just because my childhood, right? I mean, you know, Nintendo would be doing better or trying to make better deals if people stop shelling out the money,
Yep,
you know,
I agree.
like that, the fan base has to change if they want to see better deals
Well,
across the
Nintendo,
board.
yeah, Nintendo does weird things as a company. There's no. This is not new news to anyone. Like they make decisions that people scratch their head for, and some people like, yeah, you knew exactly what we want. Thanks for giving it to us, but now, what's next? They're in and out with their decisions as far as good karma, bad karma, where that fan base lies. So this is why it doesn't surprise me, and I'm not. I don't feel any type. I don't feel any type of way about that, because I know what the Nintendo fan base is gonna do what they want to do anyways. They're gonna
Yeah,
buy into it, like you said. So me being I'm not a Nintendo fanboy, but I do like my Switch, and I do like everything it has to offer that interests me. But the membership prices, it's a one and done deal. I can't cry about $50 personally, me, not for everybody else, but I can't cry about spending $50 for a year unless they don't deliver the rest of the 64 games and all that other stuff they want to add on throughout the year. And if that delays, I wouldn't advise anybody to just go ahead and throw their money at this deal until you see the what's the like word I'm looking for, the consistency as to the content that's coming out. Because if there's no consistency as to when they're going to come out with something, and that they delay this and it take too long or 6 months to do that, this is a waste of money, and it's a waste of anybody's money, to be honest, no matter what you're interested in. So I would wait. If anyone out there that's probably hesitant on paying for this, and just see exactly how long it takes for them to come out with more content from the 64, or I know they're coming out with more NES stuff, but I can care less about that either. But yeah, it's a
Their library
it,
isn't even that big right now for stuff like that, all the retro games and all that.
no, it
And it
isn't.
doesn't seem like they didn't even put out like a plan, like, hey, this is like our schedule. This is what we want to try and get out in this type of time frame.
Yep.
They're just like they just expect people to be like, oh, excellent. Let me just subscribe. Like I mean, that's had a big problem with Skyward Sword because I never played it on the Wii because I didn't like the motion controls. And what they released it, Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. And
Yeah, I
then
have that.
it's full price. The game's like 10 years old, but you want to sell it. It's not even like a remake. It's just HD upscale. Tweak some things here and there. $60. And then what? We're gonna lock fast travel because we want you to buy the
The amiibo.
amiibo.
Yeah,
It's like you gotta be kidding me. You know, like I would have
it's
bought this game had you given me a better deal. $40 for the game. Don't lock fast travel behind like a physical item, maybe. You know.
I can admit I was a sucker on buying that day one because I actually wanted to. I never finished Skyward Sword on the Wii. I played it on the Wii U. Yeah, I played it on the Wii U because I still had the Wii disc, but I never finished it. And since I never, that's the only one I think I never finished. I ended up just buying it. And never got back to it since I actually the first 2 weeks since I bought it. So there it goes again, sitting just like the last one.
That's what
But
happened with Origami King for me.
the
I
Origami
still,
HD.
I think I beat the third boss or something, and like haven't touched it in like 2 months. It just made me want to play Thousand Year Door, but um, I gotta get back. I gotta get back around to it.
Yeah,
But
I want to get the fuck. I want to get that fucking Metroid, man. But I also want to get that along. I think that me as a tech enthusiast, consumer that I am, of course, everybody's reason is to get back on something if they didn't touch it in a while is to get the newest version of that TV or that system. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it just to test these things out, And I feel that way about my Switch games because I have so many unfinished Switch games that I haven't finished yet, and I want the OLED now so I can get back on those Switch games just to touch them again. But no, I want the OLED because I just love the OLED screens. I mean, I want an OLED TV as well, but I'm a big OLED fan, and seeing a lot of reviews based on the OLED and the comparisons they have, which is only on video until you get into it, in person when you see the real difference. I'm hyped for it, but I can't be that hyped for it because at the end of the day, you have a bunch of scalpers that took that as well, all the limited supply, and reselling online for $200 plus, or more than the original MSRP. So, which is stupid, but whatever. You know what's gonna happen. Uh, but yeah, speaking of Metroid Dread, there's nothing but praise on this game for the past week since it's been out. Since it came
yeah,
out on the 8th, and right now it's on Metacritic. It's sitting at a 89 on the Metascore and 8.8 on the user score. And I've been hearing that it's broke records as the highest paying purchase Metroid game in the series, and it got top number one spot on a couple of sites as far as the most purchased game for the month as well so far. But yeah, it's been breaking records, and I have to admit I was sleeping on this game. When they first announced it, I forgot at what conference it was. I don't know if it was at Comic-Con, last year's Game Awards. I forgot. I don't know. But when they first announced it, I was like, oh, 2D Metroid. And I'm not a disclaimer, I'm not a Metroid fan. I wasn't before. I never played the other ones. I don't dislike them because I just never played them, so I didn't have no experience with them. But I know it's a popular series, and I was more drawn to the Metroid Prime series for the GameCube because it's more it's a 3D world, well, 3-dimensional camera screens and stuff like that. So compared to the 2D Metroid games, now I recently did a lot of research on people recently came out with a whole timeline history of Metroid just to catch up, have people catch up to the story that this is on now for Metroid Dread. And I'm very interested. I'm invested too. So My next game is definitely going to be Metroid Dread, along with Guardians this October. But I'm hyped for Metroid, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, since a lot of other people feel the same way. But what are you a Metroid fan at all? Did you play any other Metroids before?
I played Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Wasn't really my cup of tea, so
Oh, okay.
not really too interested in Dread either. But
Yeah, a lot of
I do
people.
hear, it is good from
Yeah,
what I've
a
heard.
lot of people think from the YouTube videos I've seen, like Metroid Prime is like their favorite Metroid Prime out of the three, out of the trilogy. Which they're still coming out with four. That they were, yeah, they're still developing that since they announced it a couple years back actually. But Dread, yeah, Dread. I like the atmosphere for a 2D game, a platformer. You know, it is Metroidvania. uh, like the Castlevania games and stuff like that. There's like the I think the mother, if correct me if I'm wrong, is probably like I think the foundation of Metroidvania games. Obviously, since it's called Metroid. I don't know which was first, Castlevania. No, but what's the term that people use for games like that? Was it Metroidvania or is another word that ends with Vania?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I heard Metrovania before, but I forgot if there's another word. I may just be saying the right one already, but yeah. Anyways, but yeah, moving past that, I've you told me you've been on Destiny recently, so I heard some Destiny news that you already know about, of course. They're voting, as you said, they're voting Forsaken
Mistaken. Yep.
DLC. And is it just Forsaken or is it everything before that too?
As far as I know, I think it's just all Forsaken. So that's obviously the story, the Tangled Shore, that's all going away. Everything that any type of content related to Forsaken, whether that be like emblems, like vehicles, like any type of stuff you could have earned like that throughout Forsaken is gone. So it's like final call here, last chance. You want some of that, some of those triumphs, some of those
Yeah, I'm pretty
emblems,
sure you're gonna
you know.
convert all of that content to Grimoire cards
Yeah.
for you to read it. Man, I don't like that. That was a bad memory with Destiny 1 with those stuff. But
Yeah, they've definitely done a better job with incorporating lore and longer cutscenes and all that. Um, I don't know. I think a lot of people compare Forsaken for Destiny 2 like Taken King for Destiny 1.
okay.
I think
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I don't really have too much attachment to Forsaken because I didn't really get back in. I dipped my toes in for Shadowkeep, and then Beyond Light is kind of like when I got back in. But
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Taking King is definitely a good comparison for Forsaken.
yeah, I mean it kind of like revitalized Destiny too for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm sure there's a good portion of the fan base who may feel like they're losing something more, when it gets vaulted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it might be the right move. They've been doing good things so far, last 3 to 6 months.
What do you think is the
So
reason why they're voting it though? What do they need? Is it because of the amount of hard drive space that it's gonna take up when they update these new contents? Like I don't know how that works with the software side, but what do you think is the reason why they voting, especially content like that? I'd rather them vote Warmind than the stuff before before Forsaken, but I don't know.
yeah,
I think I'm not personally affected by it, but I personally also think that I would want anybody that hasn't played Destiny 2 yet to enjoy that, you know, as their first big content going in. Minus besides the story, Red Mind, I think. Am I saying it right? Red Mind or Red something?
Other than War.
Red War. Yeah,
They took all that out though.
they did.
They took all. I think they took that out with Shadowkeep maybe.
I don't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this.
because
If
they took
MMOs,
out they took out all the Red War. because now it's sort of like a hybrid, like Destiny vanilla story, and then like you kind of just like go into Forsaken through there. So like all the Red War stuff is kind of just like evaporated or something, and
Oh my
I don't know
goodness.
exactly what changed, but it's just all gone, you know. And it didn't really make sense to me that they had Destiny vanilla like as Destiny 2 starter story. Like that was Destiny 1. Like leave it back there.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't get why. Yeah, that's my main question, honestly, for them, for anyone that can answer this. But I don't get why they have to vote these things if MMOs like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy for years been keeping their vanilla content and the DLCs, you know, the expansion packs up to the latest. Like, if you can keep all of that in there without going, you know, without putting too much stress on as far as storage space goes on people's PCs when they update these things, then why not keep it? I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's a BS excuse. I mean, look at Warzone, right? It's like over 100 gigs. I think Destiny's like 60 to 80 gigs or something. But
If Bungie was still with Activision, I would automatically assume, and I'm not saying Bungie might not do this anyways, but I'm automatically gonna assume that they're gonna re-release this shit later, like Jordans, for a price. Like, oh, you guys were begging for Forsaking. Fucking 5 years later, Forsaken updated version of Forsaken came out. You can play it in 4K, 60 frames sharp, or 8K, or whatever the case is at the time when it comes out again. I feel like there's a re-release of a collection going on later, but I mean that's what I would feel if they were still with Activision, because I know Activision just comes like that. But yeah, I don't
yeah,
get it. I can't wrap my head around that.
I don't know if they maybe they just don't want to update that type of content, you know, because I'm sure, you know, every big expansion, there's like major changes to the game, and the more content there is, the more they gotta, you know, alter things.
That's
So
true,
maybe
I
they just don't
guess.
want to spend the time, you know, that could be a reason.
I guess,
But
and the way they made this universe now with these when you pick a planet or whatever to go to, it is constantly updating on that planet like MMO. I don't think that you can actually separate from the same server where you're at in Forsaken. Not sorry, the NPCs that you talk to on the moon. You know, I don't think that's going to be separate compared to where they're at and whatever new content when they have new NPCs on the moon or the locations where they're swapped and stuff like that. It will have to be like a separate server for that player to jump into if they're still behind to do those missions on the moon under Forsaking or whatever current DLC. So I mean I'm trying to rationalize it in my head. I mean it may sound confusing coming off confusing, but I feel like I guess since the world is constantly updating, instead of throwing you in a single player open world, since everything is multiplayer, they're gonna have to like remove certain things from these planets that used to be there for a previous content. I'm guessing. I'm guessing that's what it is. But the way they built their world is a bit different because I guess in other MMOs you have other expansions, and they pretty much they do what they are. They expand. They It's not the same world they're in no anymore with all those NPCs. It's like a whole other area you're doing a new story for. So being that Destiny are recycling their planets, like Mars and stuff like that, and the Moon, which wasn't even out in launch for Destiny 2. I guess that's what they're doing. That's all I can assume. That would make sense to me.
I feel like they probably should have, instead of vaulting Forsaken, they should have moved it over to part of the free game. I'm pretty sure that you need to buy like a season pass or Beyond Light to have access to Forsaken. I could
Mm-hmm.
be wrong, just because I have the game bought, you know, so I don't really know what's locked or what's not. But they should have just left it as part of like, you know, oh, you know, we're gonna take Forsaken out of the season pass bundles or whatnot, you know, and we'll just throw it back to the base game. So there could be more content for people who want to play for free, you know,
Exactly.
instead of just with vanilla storyline and can't access all the strikes, you can't access all of the content. You know, it's like throw a little bit more towards people who own just the free game, so that
They don't
maybe you
want
know that'll
to.
get them hooked, and maybe that'll get them to buy. But
They don't want too
you
much
would think,
content for free. I guess they have to
I guess
mitigate it
not.
somehow.
but I feel like doing that would please people. At
Yep.
the end of the day, you think that's what you want to do to get more customers, but
Yeah. But alright, so Destiny, yeah. Hopefully they get their. Hopefully not too many people are disappointed about that if they find a way to please everyone. But we all know we can't please everyone, so
yeah,
that's not gonna happen. But for anybody that has already played it like me and you, I guess it really doesn't. It wouldn't hurt us. I guess it's not affecting us as much as the people that hasn't played it yet. When they find out, if they find out when they go on and start a new Destiny campaign, what they were missing out on or not. If they have a friend that's teasing them, oh man, you should have played a Forsaken. Oh, you
yeah.
waited too long to play. Anyways, so a couple of betas came out recently, over the past couple of weeks. One of them was Halo Infinite. So, I played Halo Infinite on the Series S and PC. The game, and I'm going to say this early, you can mark my words, quote me later on this. Halo is back. Multiplayer is back. Back from 3. Back before there was such things as Reach, 4, 5. This feels like the Halo that should have came out. Multiplayer, of course. I'm just saying multiplayer because it's a beta. The multiplayer of beta. Sorry, this feels like the multiplayer that should have released after 3, along with the added sprints and aiming down your sights. Just keep it modern. I had no beef with Reach multiplayer. I had no beef with. No, I'm lying. I did have beef with Reach when they added the power ups and stuff like that, the loadouts. I didn't dislike it as much, but I started to learn. I started learning to dislike it as I kept playing multiplayer and getting my ass whipped, back and forth because I couldn't just keep up with the times. I guess when they added that stuff, it wasn't Halo to me, especially coming off of 3 and playing 3. I probably synced in so many hours that it could count in that game, but 4 was like nothing to me. I barely played 4 multiplayer. 5, we don't need to talk about
I
5.
can't even
We don't need to talk.
remember five.
We don't need to talk about 5. But this beta captured that essence. I feel that I remember from 3. Not only because I was actually good in it, playing against actual people, not the bot side, but it's something about the pace of this game just makes it feels like, all right, this is what Halo should feel like. Not slow, not too fast. It's just they have that perfect pace, the speed to this game that matches what it felt. It matches what you remember, what you think you remember Halo 3 being, but in a better way. So besides that, the it's a fucking beta in it, and it's not just me feel like it feels this way. A lot of people like it too. It's a beta and it feels like it was finished. Mostly. There's a couple things on the menu that they can fix out because the customization is kind of still sucks to me, but
And it's free to play.
yeah, I see where they're going with it. So yeah, and the big thing is free to play. That being free to play is probably the best decision they ever made for this franchise, for Halo multiplayer. I'm gonna buy it for the story no matter what. I don't care what anybody says. I'm still a big Halo fan when it comes to the lore. And I know you are as well. The free to play decision, only thing that I might not like is how they handle the microtransaction side. I don't think it's gonna be pay to win. I'm not saying that, but I think when it comes to grinding for your special outfits that you want, it's just gonna take a lot longer because it's free to play, and they want to earn some money from that side, no matter what. So, yeah, I don't. I'm a little hesitant on that, but gameplay is Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It's fucking great, man. And I cannot wait for the multiplayer for that game. I'm probably gonna be playing multiplayer. No, that's a lie. I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna play the story first, but it's normally games that has multiplayer in the story that I care about. I normally just finish the story first, but I'm definitely jumping in day one on multiplayer, like switching it back and forth from the story, because I can't wait for that. That's the beta was freaking great. I've played it for two weekends. When they had different flights coming out for like using, I think the other weekend was only PvP, PvE, because it was you were going against bots, and the other, I think the last weekend it came out was PvP. I'm sorry, the last one was the big team battle. Whatever, I got lost. But yeah, great beta. I don't know if you've seen any footages from it or what's your thoughts on the beta that you've seen, but I know you can't take but so much from just looking at it, especially a game like that. You have to play it to know what, to realize what you're getting into.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play. I know I caught some of your gameplay on the stream you did that one day, but it does look good, and just from seeing that gameplay, it has me excited.
Yeah, the sound, dude. The sound is A1. I love the sound in the game, especially the needler, the gun. Every gun sounds powerful, and every gun sounds right that I've used so far. But yeah, the sound is definitely up there. The graphics is nothing to brag about, but that's Halo. At least the multiplayer. It looks good enough. I played on the Series S for a little bit. It's 1080p, 60 frames. So you can clearly tell the resolution is making the image blurry, but PC, it can use some optimization, of course. But other than that, from what I played, I have a 3090, so I'm not stressing too much out. It's fucking great. I played on 80 to 100 frames, but it stayed around 80 on the highest settings. I'm pretty sure it's going to have DLSS and FSR support down the line for PC, so I'll be waiting for that, the DLSS part. But yeah, the beta it was like a stamp of approval for the community, man. It was great. And I know a lot of people are going to jump on the beta, the multiplayer when it comes out for free this December. It just sucks that there's no co-op for the story on launch yet, so that's the only part that kind of sucks, which is like a good part of Halo that's just taken out of the foundation of it,
Yeah, it's kind of odd, but as long as they put that in at some point,
sooner than later.
They don't tarry on it.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are gonna beat it solo first, and then they're gonna go back and do multiplayer. But
yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Halo multiplayer, because at least for me, there's kind of like a hole in the multiplayer gaming for me right now. So I played a lot of Call of Duty and a lot of Warzone, and that has gotten really old, especially with all the hackers and all that.
yeah,
So tried to get into other things, played some Apex, but
you tried Apex Legends. This is your first time trying it. I never heard you talk about it.
it's all right. I mean, the gameplay's good, but I don't like the time to kill. It's like forever. You dump like 3 clips into somebody, they still got shields. It's like come on, like I'm kind of hoping Halo will be like an in between, like not as fast maybe as Call of Duty, but not as like long to kill someone in Apex.
Yeah,
Just give me that sweet spot, make it feel like Halo 2 back in the old days.
I think you're gonna get that feeling for big team battle on Halo Infinite. That big team battle level, the level design is fucking crazy. I love it. It's great. It's simple. You don't ask for so much. You just ask for balance in that game with everything, and that game feels balanced so far from the 3 levels I played. Of course, I have a favorite out of the 3 levels, but the game feels balanced, and I can't ask for more from what they showed so far for a beta. I don't even want to call it a beta. It felt like a demo, but again, the menu reminded me that this is a beta and the optimization for the PC. So, hell, if I'm gonna go by that definition, almost every PC game is a fucking beta now when it launches, because there's a lot of poor optimizations going on at launch. AKA Deathloop. They just fixed Deathloop for PC officially. with the frame rate issues. But speaking of PC stuff, last but not least, what we're gonna hit up is Back for Blood. Now, me and you did play the beta when it came out a couple weeks ago, months or whatever, and I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure you had a good time with it as well. From what you played a little bit, I know you played a little bit so far though. They didn't give us but so much anyways, besides the first part of the act. But it
Yeah, I was
felt,
able to beat
yeah.
the campaign in the
Oh, you
beta.
beat the. Oh, I forgot you ran. You did a run with your friends, right? After.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
remember that. So I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's funny too because at the final act, I guess it's supposed to be like a wave mode, but we kept on loading those shells,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was happening. And then like it just like got to like the last one, and it was like, all right, fire it, and then he hit the tunnel, and there was no enemies. We're just like, are we gonna fight things after we blow the tunnel? And then it was like a chase scene away or something, and it was over. And I was like, all right, so I guess that was a bit of a glitch. Like there's supposed to be zombies spawning that whole time,
I have
but
no idea.
so it was kind of funny. Like,
What did you beat
but
it on, the middle difficulty or the first, the beginner or whatever?
it could have been the middle or the first. It
Yeah,
wasn't that hard.
I just if
But
it's not that hard, it's probably the first.
yeah,
If you could shoot your teammate, it was. If you could shoot your teammate, then it's not the first.
it was the first. Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, the
we
friendly
were just
fire
trying to get
was
through it.
okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
But
I know the game is inconsistent still, even after launch, since people complained about in the beta that the difficulty was like there was no medium, like there's no actual medium, like it's either too easy or too hard. There's no middle.
mhm.
I don't know when they're gonna patch that, but they are aware of that since they've been hearing it from the beta. But it was still out, even after launch the same way. But
Yeah, from what I saw, I think the veteran difficulty was just kind of right in the beta, but
hmm
they made changes and it got out of hand. It seems, but
yeah,
yeah,
the game is inconsistent when it comes to the difficulty part, but the game I can say at least for me is fun as fuck, and it. Yeah, we know the big game is compared to is Left 4 Dead because of course it's from the same makers, the creators of Left 4 Dead, Turtle Rock. I think it's Turtle Rock. That's the name, the dev's
yeah,
name. And this is their new game since they didn't have the license for Left 4 Dead name because that still was Steam. They went ahead and just called it something else, but it's really comes off as the same game. But once you actually start playing, the main thing that I actually like in this game that will keep me going instead of just doing random runs on Left 4 Dead like I used to do over and over and not getting too much out of it besides some fun with my friends, I guess, is the card system. I like the card system a lot in this game. I think that was a one thing it needed for it to feel a little different from Left 4 Dead, and as well as modern, up to modern, modernizing the game when it comes to keeping up to date with other games out there. Because that card system is pretty much your customizations for like paint on your guns, the outfit for your guy, perks. The whole perks things is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap and Magic cards. It's like all of them does something during your playthrough when it comes to like having more ammo or taking less bullet damage or whatever the case. I say bullet damage, taking less damage in general or something like that. So it's a lot of different cards. You can customize your deck up to 15, I think. I think the slots is 15 cards or 10. In whatever order you customize those cards, that's the one on the top of your deck. That's the cards you're gonna see first when you play. As you die or go to checkpoints, it's gonna go down your deck that way and show you more of the cards that you get to choose. The gameplay for Left 4 Dead is there, the AI, the system, everything to me. But the cards is what makes the huge difference from Left 4 Dead that I like. I feel like this game is gonna have more life with, and especially if you're adding levels, new enemies. Cause these zombies, they call it the Ridden. I like everything about this game so far, and it came out at a really good time for all of us, of course, when it comes to this crazy world we live in right now, and just playing together and having something to jump on that's not repetitive. And I don't look at this game as repetitive. It could have easily been repetitive, but they made the right choices, to me. In that run, the run that you have with your friends, like I'm pretty sure that when you say you beat it, you had. Because now in the real game, I see Act 1 and it's really separated before you hit Act 2. So it's like a
Hmm.
lot of chapters in between before you even hit Act 2, and then Act 3 is the last one. When you
Yeah, I
beat
don't
it, do
think.
you remember it being like a bunch of chapters before you hit the end of Act 1? Or did you. I don't know when the beta stopped, that's the thing. I think the beta stopped at the end of the first chapter of Act 1.
Um,
After you blew up the boat.
there was like 5 different levels, I think, right? 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Because
for one chapter.
I think the third level was the bridge where you blow up the ferry.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was not the last one in the beta.
No,
Okay, so it was
no,
more
that
after
was the
that.
third one. There was another one after the ferry, and then the last one was that tunnel
Okay,
where you load up the artillery shells and you blow the tunnel. But
okay, I didn't get to that then. I'm like right past the ferry where they showed. Oh yeah, the difference between the beta and this one, they actually showed the cutscenes of the story, which is cool. So you can
oh,
actually get to know the characters. Even in the very beginning, they showed a cutscene that the beta didn't even have. And after you blew up the ferry, there was another cutscene introducing the other four characters that's locked. 4 or 5. I forgot how many more is left. I think it's 4. But the other characters that's locked, they showed them and introduced them in a way where they were working together and how they met up and stuff like that. I like, it's a little. The game is not known for story, but it's known for having characters that you would like or dislike or whatever case is. And they did a good job representing the characters with the small cutscenes that they do show. There's a story there, so it gives you a little more motivation to run through besides just doing random runs. So I like that too. By the way,
you
so
know, one thing I think I didn't realize they didn't put in like a campaign versus sort of like how they used to have it on Left 4 Dead, where
campaign
you would.
versus.
Yeah, didn't they used to have that game mode where you'd have 4 people playing through like a campaign story mission, but you would have other people on the opposite team, so to speak, as written, the special written, playing as like bloaters and like the tall guys. Like, didn't they have like a mode like that?
It sounds like you're correct. I just don't remember it because I'm thinking of a level that I thought, and I think I did play something like that. And I don't know if it was a modded mode or was it an official mode. But
I thought it was like an official mode, but
I mean, you could be right. I have no. I just can't remember off the top of my head exactly if they had that or not. But yeah, the Back for Blood doesn't have that. You're right about that. Not that I don't think people are complaining yet about that or missing it. It may come later down the line. Like I said, this game has a lot of life if they really treat it the right way.
mm,
And hopefully have as much life as Left 4 Dead 2. I probably don't want to say that because that means that it won't be coming out another game for a while. But hopefully it has a lot of life that the way that people want to remember it, I guess, and when they play it. So as long as they make the right decisions and treat it the right way and keep coming out with these good updates that people may want, then that's all that matters. Because what it has right now for the vanilla version of the game is fucking great to me. It's enough for me, at least, a guy that doesn't spend too much time on a game like that, at least. It's not an MMO. It's not New World, so you don't have to spend hundreds of hours shooting zombies unless unless that's it. If that's your thing, that's your thing,
or
But
killing boars or knocking down trees or whatever the
yeah,
exploits have been so
and
far.
yes, that is a shot at New World, guys, because at the end of the day, New World is really nothing. It's actually a contradiction towards his name. It's not new. It's just a world, another world. That's what it should have been called. It's probably a better title than a New World. Whatever. I'm rambling. But yeah, New World I played a bit and I returned it after the first 2-3 hours I played it. I will buy it eventually. I just don't think that. I know I didn't hit. As an MMO, of course, you don't get what you really want to get out of an MMO out of 2-3 hours. I get it, but I just started seeing a early pattern in that game that I wasn't feeling. When you start getting fetch quests to get 3 logs from a tree, and then get 3 other different logs from a different maple tree, I'm not doing that.
Be
I
called the
don't.
new grind.
I don't. I'm not doing. It's and it's crazy because I watch after I bought it. I watched a couple impressions on it, and a lot of people saying the same thing. Is like this game is not new. This is a lot of things that this game has already that they're doing that other MMOs have already done, but older MMOs, it's being compared to because this game has a lot of older mechanics that MMOs have been doing for years. They're not doing things like what Black Desert Online is doing, and other MMOs that's trying out new stuff. So the game looks pretty. It looks nice. I ran on the highest setting. I didn't. Yeah, I know the 3090 shit. The game has been crashing their cards and breaking a fucking expensive ass 3090s. It's very tricky. Time to even try something like that. But I did more research before I actually played it and took that chance. I made sure I registered. I actually registered my 3090. I can give the game this. I'll give the game kudos for this. It made me register my 3090 when I was supposed to do that already when I first got it. So I got an extra extended warranty, which is coming out to 5 years now for this 3090, the Zotac third party one. So it made me do that. I give the game that, but I still returned it, so it doesn't matter. But I see potential in it though in the future if they just change that mission system. I mean, hell, we lived through Final Fantasy 14, the vanilla version, and I actually bought the collector's version for that. Believe it or not.
Really?
Just to kill some rats and more rats with a fucked up HUD that didn't even tell you where the fucking mission was. So, speaking of that, I've been on Elder Scrolls Online again. Never even played it like that until now. I've been playing it on the PlayStation though.
Yeah, I never got into Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I never officially got into it till now. Like I started it back when it first came out, and I was like, I'll go back on Final Fantasy 14 or Realm Reborn. And then I started playing it recently because after New World came out, I was like, damn, I want to play MMO now, but not Final Fantasy at the moment because I don't want to pay for any MMO besides monthly wise. So I was like, you know what, this is new. Let me try it out. Didn't like it, returned it, and it got me back on ESO. I'm like, okay, it's a great transition, I guess, but I think that game sold me to ESO more than it did for itself. So I was like, okay, I'm into ESO now. Like, I actually like it. When I first started it, I wasn't interested in as much. I didn't play that much of it, but now I think I played about 6-7 hours of it. Or not even, probably 5 or 6 hours. But I'm enjoying it. I mean, they updated it for the PS5. I own it on the PC. All I think they need is a fucking crossplay system. I wish they had cross progression.
When did you play last? Because they came out probably with a couple expansions since the last time you played.
Yeah, they just when did I play last? The last time I played was when it came out, before any expansion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of expansions now. Only reason why I played it on the PlayStation because it was $8 on sale for the base game. I think it's $20 with all the expansion. No, $30 with all the expansions that. Especially the new one that just came out, Black Rock or Black something. But the game is fun. I think it's definitely a game that I would be on a lot more as of the rest of the year for my MMO. I've been on and off of Final Fantasy. I still think it's my best MMO out there. But it costs. And that's the only thing that New World conquered is when it came to removing that hump that the player would have to play it was the cost. It was it's $40, still $40 now to buy it, and it's after you buy it, that's it. You play it whenever you want, and I still didn't keep it after that. So you just it's always MMOs. I ain't gonna get into all that, but yeah. But ESO is free once you buy it, and the fact that it's $8 now, I think the sale is over actually. Yes, I think it's over, but it's still cheap. And it has a lot of content, and it's not Skyrim, of course, but it's close. It's the closest thing you're gonna get towards an online Skyrim game, and I actually like Skyrim, so there's that. But wrapping up the time, I even check that out. Well, yeah. So, do you have anything else to say about Have you seen covered Back for Blood, Battlefield? I think we talked about all that already.
And I did play Battlefield beta, maybe like 3 games. Uh,
Oh, how did you like it? Did you play it on your PC?
yeah, I did. Um,
Oh, we didn't even talk about Battlefield. That's crazy. I just thought about that. I think I glanced over that. What you think
I
about
mean,
it?
it's funny because I think the Back for Blood beta spoiled me as far as like optimization. It was not running well on my PC. I mean, I run like an
It's
RTX 2070 Super, and my panel's 1440p, so I mean, it's decent, but it was
dude.
not running well.
I,
And
I I
there
know.
was, yeah, like
If I
I
wasn't
think,
running that well, I know for a fact anyone else is not running that well. Like that's the API for that game. That's the DirectX 12. They need to get rid of that. As well, not rid of it, but they need to come out with the DirectX 11 option when it comes out because it's clearly not optimized on DirectX 12 properly.
yeah,
The consoles
like
run a
playing,
lot better than the PC, and that's saying something.
yeah, playing that beta because I was kind of excited for Battlefield, but playing that and also realizing that they got like a month, I guess, till the game releases. Not too excited for it as much as I was. What are they going to change in a month? When
Understandable.
they said it was an old version of the
They
game,
did. I was gonna bring that up. They said it
but
was. They said it was a couple months or whatever old. But I was like, I don't believe that shit. People say that all
yeah,
the
I
time.
don't believe that
People say that
shit.
all the time. Like, why would you give us the worst version of the beta? Like, come on. I don't believe that.
Yeah, nah.
But I can tell
Yeah.
you
So
one thing that it didn't take no excitement away from me because I'm already expecting this during the Battlefield betas. I've been playing Battlefield. I played the other betas like 3. I played 4, and it's all the same bullshit to me. They're very Dice. I could tell you one thing. As much as I don't like EA, they're very quick on optimizing their main flagship game. So I don't. I believe that everybody should be good with the optimization part. Not too long after, even if it does fuck up after launch. Um, I believe Dice that they do the right thing, very fast and prompt as they should. But
yeah, I don't know. It left me more excited for Halo. So
oh man, yeah, Halo is just still my most excited multiplayer game that I'm waiting for. But Battlefield is a special place in my heart that I can't. It didn't take no excitement away when I played it. I actually played it. I got all my hardware is up to date, and it still gave me between on the highest settings 60 to 90, jumping all over. Um, of course, it stayed above 60 frames, but the inconsistent frame dips did not help at all. Because you can tell it was just stuttering. At times, it still mostly played well though, and I did try it on the PS5 as well, and that played well. And I tried it on the Xbox Series S, that played well. The PC was just the inconsistent one that played well. If that makes any sense. Like it was above 60, it was still smooth, but the dips didn't help. The frame gaps was inconsistent, so you could tell it was a little stutter here and there. And something like that would do, my PC should have been cake, and it wasn't. But I wasn't expecting cake. This is Dice we're talking about. Well, EA we're talking about here, and it's a beta. And I had the similar experience with the other Battlefield betas. So it didn't down my hype at all. I'm still hyped for the actual game to come out. The game itself, besides performance, it looks fucking great, graphics
oh
wise.
yeah,
The rain on the raindrops on the guns, from every little detail, the evolution of the level, the rocket level, the NASA level, that you play in, the tornadoes, the when the storm is in and out, when it's night and day a little bit or a little darker, everything is just fucking great detail wise. They fixed the performance. They give us a little more options with the performance at least. I think everybody will have a great time with that game, based on what we've seen so far. But yeah, the game is it's definitely a runner up with for as far as like my most anticipated multiplayer game of this year so far. Because I've been waiting for a new Battlefield, a modern Battlefield, for like 2 games now. So yeah,
Yeah,
Battlefield 1 and 5 is for what it was, for what it's worth. It was okay. It wasn't something that I stayed on, especially for no damn short stories. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
like this slightly near futuristic modern one here. That's the closest thing we're gonna get to another Battlefield 4. So, but yeah,
yeah.
yep. And that's the last thing that I think. Yeah, that was everything. Okay, so I'm going to actually go on and I might stream. I don't know yet. I'm gonna go on Back for Blood. I'm gonna hop online with my brother. Oh yeah, one big detail that people, if you didn't know, Back for Blood is free on Games Pass. Technically, it's not free, but if you have the subscription already, it's free. So if you have Game Pass on PC and Xbox, you can download Back for Blood now, the whole game, and play. And it's cross-play and cross-save. So that's a huge thing for that game that I like a lot about it. I don't know if it's cross-play with PlayStation though, along across for the PC, and I don't know. But I know it's cross-play with Xboxes on a PC. So go download it if you haven't. Just try it out. If you don't like it, you can delete it. But it's definitely worth a try. So yeah, that was the last thing I want to put out there for Back for Blood before I hop on, because I am hopping on right after this call. And I don't have any good segue to end this, so I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna say, thanks for joining, Steve. I appreciate it, coming here again on the podcast, and I hope to get a lot of players. We are talking to players feedback on this podcast. If you can, I will have this up on YouTube, if not by tonight, tomorrow morning. Since it's Sunday, possibly tomorrow morning. Yeah, tomorrow morning. I'm gonna say it that way. It's not coming on tonight. Tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna end it here, and hopefully we get another podcast going as soon as we can.